Hi, it's Molly and welcome back to my channel. Welcome here if it's your first time. Today's video is going to be glowing everyday makeup for women over 60. This has been so highly requested and I think this look is so stunning. So I'm really excited. Very quickly, I apologize for my voice. It is officially allergy season in Los Angeles. I'm going to introduce you to my friend Laurie, who is here today as my special guest. Thank you for being here.
I'm happy to be here.
And today's look is going to be a very glowy, everyday look. So let's get started. This is Bioderma Sensible Light, and it's a really nice French drugstore brand product that I feel like is so underrated.
I mean, it just feels like soothing feeling.
Oh,
Really
good.
nice. 'Cause my skin's sensitive to certain things, but boy, does that feel good.
Oh, good. I like to do a little lip balm as well, and then this can sink in while we're doing makeup. Another product that I have been loving is this Kiehl's Facial Fuel Eye Depuffer. So if you feel at all like you wake up a little bit puffy, you can just take a little bit of this. And this is also good for sensitive skin. May I have you look up? And just dab a little bit underneath the eye. And that feels soothing, right? It's not like burning or
It feels
anything.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, everything's felt soothing.
Good so far? Okay, great. I like to do eyes first, and then if there's any eyeshadow fallout, we can clean it up really quickly. I'm just priming the eyes right now with a little bit of eye primer. After eye primer, I'll always put a little bit of powder on. This just makes the eyeshadow apply more smoothly so that it's not going to be skipping across the lid. You were saying you usually wear very natural makeup, right, for every day?
Yeah.
I feel like most people want a really just polished look for every day. So we're going to go one shade deeper than your skin tone and then just find a nice spot right above the crease to apply that lighter shade. And one thing that I feel like is really important is that you actually don't need that much product. So I'm using a domed brush and I'm just grabbing the smallest amount. So as you can see, I'm applying the shadow with this windshield wiper motion right across the lid. And what that does is it opens up the eye. So Laura, if you don't mind opening up your eyes for just 1 second, you can see that that lifts the eye a little bit right here to have the shadow in this crease. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. And then taking that same color, I'm going to go in with a pencil brush and following the line of her eye, I'm just going to work a little shadow into this outer edge. When you're applying it, you want to make sure that that the shadow is following your lower lash line and going up and out, and that will give you that really nice lifted look to your eye. If you're having trouble finding it, you can look down into the mirror and then it's a little bit easier to follow the line at that point. And then I'm taking my clean fluffy brush and I'm just going to take that shadow that we put down and start to work that in towards the center of the eye and work the outer side up into the crease. And having the shadow on this outer edge gives the eye a nice lift in this direction. And we're going to use a lighter cream shade. And starting at the lash line, I'm just going to dab this across the lid. And you can actually close if you don't want to get any powder. And by starting at the lash line, it's just making it a little bit easier to control the placement. And this will go all across the lid, and this brightens the eye and again gives you a little bit more lid space. And the key with liner is to make sure that each side is really, really sharp. This is a taupe liner as well. I prefer taupe to black or a deeper gray, or deeper brown rather, because taupe is the same shade as a shadow. Then I will take a smudge brush and I'm going back in with that same deep taupe shade. And at the lash line, I'll press this in and then just start to lift the brush sort of in an upward motion. And this helps in case we couldn't get the liner all the way into the lashes, which can be tricky just because of the way lashes are. We're getting a little bit of shadow in there and creating again that nice density and deeper look at the lash line. And I'm just taking my pencil brush and blending that lash line into the outer V that we created.
It's different already, huh?
Do you notice the difference?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yes.
Now that we've finished the upper part of the lid, I'm going to go in and do the color correcting. If you watch the concealer video, you know that we all have some deeper tones at the inner corners of our eyes. So I'm just going to go in and correct that, because if we light diffuse, you can actually use less concealer. This product has changed my life. I'm going to prime the skin and then we'll go in and do concealer and foundation. So this is that Becca, the Luminous primer that I love, that I'm almost out of. Let's hope that it lasts through today. This product is light diffusing as well. Very similar to that Becca Under Eye Corrector. This is a little bit more sheer for skin though. The eye formula is a bit more concentrated, sort of formulated more like a concealer. And this is formulated more like a face lotion. Feels pretty light, right?
Oh yeah, it feels very light.
This is the Kogundo Aqua Foundation that I've talked about on this channel before. Have you heard of this brand before?
No.
Kogundo. It's a really nice Japanese foundation and it's really lightweight but offers nice coverage. And I just think it's a really beautiful finish.
I love your little hand palette that you
Oh,
use
thank
with
you.
your brush. It's like, it's
Yeah, it
wonderful. It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know what I loved about it is then instead of putting it like right on your face, how you control how much you put on.
Yeah.
So you're not at the mercy of the makeup. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm just going to buff this in. And this is what I love about this foundation is that it just looks like skin. The formulas that I love are a lighter weight formula that you can build.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that I know people tend to go for like BB creams or CC creams, but you can really sheer out the foundation as well and get nice coverage without it feeling heavy.
Yeah. It doesn't feel heavy at all.
Does it feel light? Yeah.
Yeah. Very light.
I'm just going to do a little bit right here too, just because I like to even out, like, so that it's just not the face with foundation.
Yeah.
It kind of just evens everything out. And we'll get that patted in. And then that will protect your clothing. We're going to move on to concealer. This is the Becca, it's got a very long name, Aqua Luminous Perfecting Concealer. And I really love this concealer just because it has a more satin finish versus a matte, and it's just a really beautiful product. So I'm just going to take a little teeny bit and start to apply here along the sides of the nose and stopping as soon as I get to the pupil. Even though we're going to blend out, I like to just apply the product right here because it gives us the coverage over any dark areas of skin without applying a ton of product on the outside of the eye. So we're blending out and you get a little bit of color there without a lot of heavy product sitting sort of in those areas. Again, instead of using a ton of powder, I love powder, I don't shy away from it, but I do like to try and set everything first with a spray because I feel like once you get a liquid in there to set things, then you can use a little bit less powder. It just makes everything lay a little bit more smoothly. I'm going to take a little bit of a shimmery, this is a pinkish taupe shade, and I'm putting it right back on that smudge brush. And this is going to go in the lower lash line, but only in between the lashes, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like barely any product. It gives the eyes a little twinkle, which I like, especially if I've had not as much sleep as I prefer.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice because it just catches the light. Because it's in between the eyelashes, you also don't really see it, if that makes sense. Take just the tiniest amount of a more champagne shimmer, pop that right in the inner corner. You just need the smallest amount, and then once you get it in and start blending it, it becomes one with the skin. I'll grab a clean brush, and then without any product on it, just use this to buff things around. I'm going to add a little teeny bit of highlighter. This is a cream formula, which is really nice. This is one of my favorite products. I think I have one of these like in every makeup bag I own. If you don't know where to highlight, just use your fingers and feel for your bone, and your bone structure will help guide you. This is a liquid blush from a British company called Daniel Sandler. This one, you definitely want to put it on the back of your hand first because it's kind of a beast. I like to start placing, like, again, right around where the pupil is.
Mm-hmm.
And buffing into the skin that way. And when I start with the pupil, it's like it gives me a little bit of, what's the word I'm searching for, control. Like if I start right on the apple of the cheek, I feel like I'm like blending and blending and blending, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But if I start a little bit out here, I can blend this way, I can blend in. And this angel shade is just a really pretty peach. You know how they send you thank you cards when you shop online?
Mm-hmm.
And this one was so British, and it said, "We'd love to hear how you're getting on."
Yeah.
I was like, it's so British, and I love it. I will tell you how we're getting on. We're getting on wonderfully, because your liquid blush is heaven. I'm going to just grab this and blend that into... One of the models I work with is British, and so she's like constantly helping me teach me the slang.
Yeah.
She taught me this one phrase, splash out, which is like when you spend the cash. And she was like, "Oh, you really splashed out." And I was like, "What is that? What is?" I was like, "I don't know what that means because I'm using it all the time now."
I want to make sure I have it
so
right.
cool. I'm gonna take this and I just start buffing it into almost into the hairline. If that makes sense, and I bring it down across the cheeks to blend in. And always down the neck. This can actually be done with a powder or a cream as well, but because I forgot to do it earlier, we're going to use a powder, and it's just a little contour. It's very light, and I'm just going to take a little teeny bit of this and go right here along from the ear and, oops, a little here, and just draw it forward. This is one of those products that I swear it looks like almost nothing's on your skin, but it just gives kind of a nice definition here.
Mm-hmm.
And I will use a little bit of this Hourglass powder that I love because it's so light. moving on to eyebrows now. This is one of my favorite parts of makeup because I feel like it just opens up the face so much, which you know from doing portraits. So I always like to start right at the arch and then just draw in here. And I feel like almost everyone looks good with a higher arch. Whenever I start with the arch, I use less product up front. It's interesting because usually what we're trying to do is just give a little bit more fullness to that area, but when you start at the front, you can go a little bit wild.
Yes, yeah.
And so I noticed when I started filling in this part of my brow first, it just was so much easier to get natural results.
That's kind of like you were talking about putting the blush on, starting right under the pupil and moving both ways to not get too heavy.
Yeah. It's interesting, right? So much of it is like placement over product.
Yes.
I mean, the products, like, it does matter, but the placement matters so much. And now I'm just setting the brow up a little bit with a clear gel.
Oh, wow.
Love?
Love.
The nice thing about the micro brow pencil too that I just used, the really thin pencil, is that like I feel like I'm this close to you and everything still looks natural. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I am going to put on some individual lashes. I feel like individual lashes tend to be a little bit more of a nighttime look, but I do want to put some on right now. Most people actually have shorter lashes in the inner and outer corner, and then the longer ones are in the center. And we tend to think of like lashes as being really long on the outside, but that's actually where our shortest lashes are. So I'm going to start out with the extra small on the inside and outside, and then we'll do a few longer ones in the middle. If you want to know how to get these off too, you can take a Q-tip and dip it in olive oil, and then just hold that along the lash line, and the olive oil will dissolve the glue. People tend to pluck them, or some people have told me they slept overnight in individual lashes.
They come off themselves that way.
Which I do not recommend. Individual lashes are like people always tell me that they really struggle to do them on their own.
I would think that would be a little tough, but you must do your own.
I do my own, and my biggest tip, and Maddie, I've told this one to you too, whenever I'm doing them on myself, I always just pretend like I'm feeding myself an overfilled spoonful of soup. Do you know what I mean? Like
Hold it up, yeah. What do you think of the lashes that you put on that stay on for, whatever, a few weeks?
The ones that everybody's doing nowadays.
I have tried them, and I think if they're well applied, they can be okay.
Yeah.
I started using lash growth serum called Grande Lash, and you can get it from Ulta or Sephora, probably other places as well. And that made a really big difference for me. I don't know if you remember the Pamela Anderson eyebrow of the 90s.
Oh, sure.
It was, I was a big early adopter of that. Like, all my pictures from college are just these, like, two little skinny brows.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
It's really bleak. So, yeah, I started to use the lash and the brow serum, and I was like, okay, this works.
So they have it like Ulta?
Yeah, I just bought a little kit at Ulta, and it has a brow and a lash serum and a mascara. And the mascara has castor oil in it, which is nice too. And then I bought just a giant thing of castor oil from Amazon, and I alternate days because I have really sensitive skin and eyes. So I'm just gonna curl your natural lashes and the individuals together. I'm just tapping them together. And you can obviously at home use a mascara wand. I'm just using a fan brush today because it's more sanitary. That way I don't have to use the same mascara wand on everyone. If you are really blonde and you have trouble getting mascara all the way down to the roots, these little fan brushes can be really helpful.
you're doing that, I feel like I have such long eyelashes.
Yeah, can you see them?
Yeah.
It always amazes me what just like popping on a few lashes can do.
Yeah, it wasn't that many that you put on, but.
And if you ever get clumps when you're doing your own lashes, these metal lash combs are actually better than the plastic ones.
Okay.
You just have to be a little bit more careful, obviously, because it's a piece of metal near your eye.
Right.
But it really separates everything. This is my favorite pencil, as you can tell by the petite size. I have to keep repurchasing this. I use it down to this stuff. I have no shame. But this is the iconic nude, and it looks really good on most people. And I don't love to overdraw lips, but I do draw right on that edge. So it'll be like the absolute edge of the lip I'll go over. So we start right here at the Cupid's bow. I just mixed a few different shades together to kind of find a like your lips shade.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put a little lip balm in here as well. That's one of my biggest tricks on set, is to throw a little bit of lip balm in with the lipstick, and then it gives it a nice, like, more natural look, I find.
Yeah.
You know, some people feel like they don't love lipstick because it looks like lipstick.
Mm-hmm.
And like right around the corners of our mouths where we tend to have product gather, you can do just a little bit of concealer here. And it helps clean up the shape. This is one of those steps that seems excessive, like, and like it's going to be time consuming. But as you can see, it's like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
I say that, and then whenever I go to do it myself, I'm like, I don't have the time.
Right.
I'm like, I know that it takes literally 20 seconds. So I'm just going to do one last little bit of powder in any places that get shiny. All right. The finished everyday look.
Thank you.
Oh, of course, thank you for
Wow.
being here. This in real life takes like 20 minutes when we're not gossiping. The only thing I would say that maybe would take a little bit longer is doing the individual lashes.
Sure, yeah.
So, like, if you wanted, you could have either lash, extensions, or do the lash growth serum, or, just practice with the individuals. Like, that soup motion makes it, I think, go a lot faster.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yes,
being here.
I love
It
it.
was just
It
so
was
nice to meet
wonderful.
you.
Yay!
Yay! I feel like I'm like a creep, like hovering.
Well, definitely.
Hovering
Yeah,
into the side.
This
Here
will
we
definitely
go.
be better if I'm over
Okay,
the
yeah,
side
there
of
we go.
here.
This gives me a little bit more room. You're a painter. You understand the concept of shadow and light.
that's
and
right. Absolutely. Yeah.
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 And then
Just not on myself.
You'll know after this.
Um,
That's another testimony to how much I love Molly, because I'll go on a hike with her.
that makes me feel very good. Thank you.